Hello everybody, welcome back to the Seercast. I am ePiKnight, and today we have Runic. Worst improv ever.
Nice improv.
I'm just gonna say this quest was a complete disaster.
That is acceptable. Geena?
Oh no, the quest was absolutely amazing, if for no other reason than because Zamora was in it.
Oh, Geena. Fang?
You have found one of 365 ravens. I wonder what happens when you find them all.
Wrecked. Siroki?
I just found out that we were doing the quest today, so Cheryl, could you cancel my lunch, and dinner plans?
God damn it, Archer!
Urge?
DoD was definitely just a quest for true pudding.
It's just a quest for true pudding. Lime?
This is me. I'm amazing.
Damn straight. And Walter and Ballor are in the chat. So this time we are talking about the more, I guess, nitty-gritty parts of Dimension of Disaster.
Oh, wow.
As well as the BTS for April, all very little that's on it. The March update's not called Dimension of Disaster, and the April Fool's stuff. Because that is something to talk about. We're gonna go ahead and just get started with the BTS for April, because there's not much to say. We've talked quite a bit about the aquarium, which is the major update, the single major update for April, in a previous podcast. So if you want to hear our thoughts about it, I would go check that out. Also in that, there's the normal things, and then Vic is coming back. I think somebody wanted to mention something briefly about Vic.
In the BTS video, in the XP and token section, there is a brand new item called Pulse Essence that has appeared. So, I'm wondering if that relates to maybe those or the, Star Dust or whatever it was, those promos, or if it's something else.
Perhaps.
As an additional note, I would like to point out how many puns they got into the aquarium BTS.
I wanted to pick up something and throw it at the monitor.
Yeah.
Because, they mentioned that the puns were bad, and then they did 3 more in the same sentence.
Yeah. In between the, lava eels.
No.
And the dolphinately gain access. Oh, I was scaly impressed.
That was even worse.
Next! So yeah, that pretty much covers the BTS. Yay!
So,
I do want to say though, before we get moving, there's a poll out right now on the, what is it? This is the not the diamond poll. It is a diamond poll. That is an opinion poll on update size. And there are a lot of naysayers about what this impact will have to do on quests, and I want to say that I think it will actually create more rather than less, because there's less trash updates to have to spend development time on.
Yeah, there's a lot less.
Specifically agreed on that.
It's a lot less fluff, and I have to agree. Yeah, because I feel that most of the updates this month, in all honesty, are fluff. But if you bunch them all together, you could have gotten like a quest in there, and that's kind of sad.
But we have. Oh, you're talking about in March.
No,
you're talking about in April. Because there's just the one big one in April, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'd also like to mention that
that
since we have so many little skill updates and stuff that have been coming out, with these larger kind of styles, this means that we won't just get one little teeny tiny skilling update. Instead, we'll get a quest with this skilling update as a reward.
Yep.
Or a large group of skilling updates.
Yep.
Or
instead of
that we need.
Yeah, instead of 1 week, giving you an hour of content, you get 1 month giving you a huge chunk of content.
Yep.
So it allows developers to spend their resources and focus those resources on a specific update and all the things they want to put into it, rather than
they could even with
small
large skill updates, they could add various lore books or various things armadillions growing spice gardens, I guess.
My God, don't even mention that.
We're going to ignore that exists.
Yeah.
There's one thing I wanted to mention. There were a lot of people who are complaining about this BTS being really small.
This is what we would get normally. But
see,
aquariums
wait.
is huge.
Aquariums is huge. But additionally, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, which is ironic in the behind-the-scenes.
Anyways, sorry, Runic, go.
What I kind of wanted to say is that this update being aquariums and then mostly fluff is kind of a side effect of the fact that they're always doing these trash updates.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these really small ones, so they're trying to squeeze something out every week, and then you have months like this.
Mm-hmm.
So, if this were under the new schedule, we would have gotten the aquarium, then we would have gotten like 2 other POH rooms, like the museum, which you should all totally support on Room Labs.
Resource dungeon.
Yeah, and the resource dungeon.
And of course,
or the
with
greenhouse that everyone wants.
Yeah. With this month, like I said, there's behind-the-scenes stuff. So there's that event tools update, which is actually insanely exciting, because I don't know if you guys noticed, but they're running a JMod run version of World Event 1 this month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
that has
relaunch,
PvP.
Which has the safe PvP. Faction-based safe PvP for the honor of your favorite god.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty damn cool, right?
Is Timikin included?
What do you
we don't
think?
know yet. It seems to just be Samarak and Zeradomin, but...
I'm only interested because there's actually probably some good XP rates there.
Oh yeah, and they've
basically
entirely updated all about the rewards. They've done a lot of updates to the Rotten Potato and whatever other tools they have. So things like a lodestone that brings you directly to where the event is at, or putting down world event style skilling notes while you're chilling out and chatting, and just even more kind of JMod tools to allow their in-game events to be actually enjoyable, not just on hey, I'm sitting here chatting with my favorite JMod, but, there's some activity going on in the background as well.
Yep.
Yeah, actually enjoyable, unlike that Virago event.
Alright.
You mean Godless?
Seriously, who does a Virago event on that rotation?
Whoever did that Virago event on that rotation. Anyways, we should probably get moving.
New merchandise store too, which is kind of cool, but unrelated to game updates.
As long as they need an effigy plushie.
Yes, they do. I will buy a sack of effigies plushie.
I would
rather than the
buy
one in game.
Walter says, like, being able to chat with your favorite JMods isn't enough. Implying that we can't chat with them on Twitter. The Stone of Jas paperweight.
Actually, I'd like the Stone of Jas as a...
Can we have the Stone of Dave paperweight?
I'd like the Stone of Jas water feature.
Yeah, the Stone of Dave paperweight is just a paperweight of Mods Osborne's face.
Yeah.
Can I have the Pen of Armadillo?
What about the Staff of Penguidil?
And I would not say no to the Winter Hat Archivall.
No.
Can I just have an Eat, Sleep, Scape, Repeat shirt?
Yeah, I think that's what we're all looking for.
Pretty sure that's it.
That is the single greatest shirt ever made.
It really is.
Okay.
And if they also mentioned that there's going to be some ninja pipelines such as movable bank tabs. Hallelujah.
That sounds useful.
That sounds
Very.
Alright, but anyways, moving on, we should mention briefly these other March update things that happened.
Yes.
First of all, we have the boss practice mode and instancing. Now at the end of the month, how useful on a scale of 1 to, I don't know, Zemrigal was this?
7.
This was more useful than Azanadra.
Scandal.
Keep in mind who your host is.
Keep in mind who I am.
No, I know.
Scrubs, that's it.
Sounds
On a legitimate note, though, I really do think that it's probably around 7 or so, because it's very helpful for new players. You can see the animations. That's so huge. I love the animation additions. And just the ability to have a whirl at the boss a couple of times before you go in to make sure not only like your connection's solid, that's a fantastic thing on its own. Poke your head in there, hey, is my connection
Rip
doing
Walter.
okay? Am I good to grab an instance? And if not, you just log out. And if it is, then you can go right into your main instance, good to go.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of very handy little extra uses for it.
And now we can leave our instances and rejoin them, which makes Araxor heaven.
Yeah, that's I
mean,
think the most
yeah.
important thing about this is that you can rejoin instances that you made.
It's so good. I mean, it improves just Araxor's experience per hour, or not experience, but money, because you were paying so much for instances.
Runic just made the mistake of putting heaven and Araxor in the same sentence. Walter is not impressed.
The lunar laser
Yeah, I know.
is moving.
Yeah, fair enough.
Alright,
Fair enough.
so that's...
And you can check boss rotations on there, which makes Virago, Rots, and Araxor even better. Well, I mean, you can't say Araxor, but...
You can't. It makes it more bearable.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's that stuff. There's also ninja
Okay.
updates. Huh, Geena? What?
Sorry. I've got people yelling at me.
Oh. We've also got ninja updates. Skill capes are the first victim of the ninjas this month. I was looking forward to the skill cape update, and
So was
then it no.
I felt a little crushed by it. I will admit.
They're really
broke
bad.
the colors of my divination cape.
That was my biggest
extremely
problem.
sad.
Yeah.
I think the shapes could use some improvement, and the textures are fine, but they broke the colors.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh, the
my
textures
biggest
on low.
my biggest pet peeve is that it looks like you've got a cake with a sticker on it.
It does. And I
think
mean,
the biggest victim...
I like the attempt, and I like the idea behind it, but it needs work.
What I think I hated more than anything else is that within, I don't know, 2 hours, they were already like, oh yeah, we're gonna add overrides for the old one. I'm like, holy shit, guys.
Yeah, that was a quick turnaround.
And I mean, I don't mind the addition of it, but it seems like an easy way out to not improve the capes.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. That does not make me happy.
No. Like,
Because
there's...
I want new capes. Straight
Yeah.
up. But I want ones that don't look like a flat sheet of paper on my back.
And it's also
With a sticker on
what
it.
they did with the tassels is just, like, the shoulder guards were awful and had to go. But, or the shoulder pads, or whatever the hell you want to call them. But, what they did with the tassels is not good comparatively.
Yeah.
The way that it looked in the pictures and like the, what do you call it? The
mock-ups?
Yeah, the mock-ups where that they had in the thread and stuff. It looked good. It looked like it would have been fine. What it turned out was that they was not even close, and like, I don't know. It's just disappointing. It's disappointing.
The biggest victim of this update was the estate agents across RuneScape, because apparently they lost everything and are no longer wearing their suits.
A lot of the skill update guys are actually quite broken.
That's what happens.
A lot of them are now wearing bot outfits.
That's what
Not,
happens.
not just the bot updates, but like the Master Fisher, he has like random, his hair is pink. Because his hair color was tied to his cape, and when they removed his cape, they didn't do anything to his hair.
Nice.
The hilarious thing, someone pointed out that they found an estate agent that was randomly wearing a Slayer cape.
Yeah.
Nice.
He gave up after the skill cape and decided to chillax with Kuradal.
The housing market collapsed.
Straight up, screw this. I want a Slayer cape.
Well,
now.
no. That actually works, because the housing market must have collapsed with warbands all the way back.
Nice.
So this was like the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah. So this is almost funny.
pun somewhere in there.
But the thing I'm actually most annoyed with the skill cape update, is actually the changes to the inventory icons.
Oh
They're
god,
rather
they're
skinny
bad.
now.
Right, I can see
Can't
that.
see what cape is which. The hoods look like crap. At the very least,
Yeah.
like the hoods on the capes actually look really good. That was a fantastic job they did. But the hood icon and the cape icon are awful.
I don't know
want
why
to
why did they need to change that?
I have no
honestly,
idea.
why did they have to change? Like, I don't mind it. Like, it's whatever. Okay, fine. But like, why did that actually need to be changed?
It didn't. See, I have more of a problem with it because I keep my hoods in my in a bank tab in like a specific order based on the order I got my capes in. So every time I see them, I just kind of groan to myself because they looked so clean beforehand, and now they're kind of a mess.
Yeah, I didn't actually notice the hoods. I should probably go and just attach all my hoods to the capes, but yeah.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the hoods never needed to be changed. It was the capes themselves that were bad.
The hoods were fine.
Always been great.
But the hoods and the capes go together, so I can see why they changed it. I don't know why they changed the icons or what. It's just,
I mean, I like the the skill icon changes. That was what we needed. But
yeah, that was definitely something needed. And like the cape itself needed a redesign because it clipped with everything, and but it needed a redesign in such a way that it didn't break other things relating to the cape that wasn't already broken.
I think the thing that bugs me the most is one of the core designs of it was that they were the goal was to stop clipping, and it just clips in different ways now.
Yep.
Well, actually, they said Mod Kelpie posted something halfway through the development who basically said that we can't fix the clipping with these new models.
Then, my question is, then why would you use said models?
Well, I don't. Yeah, exactly. But
it doesn't make a lot of sense. Now,
it doesn't really, but yeah.
What the one
they
thing
basically said that it was impossible to completely fix the clipping.
Yeah.
Well, it usually is. It's usually you just have to hedge your bets against, you have to realize, okay, so what is going to be used the most with this? So we can reduce clipping
spots.
Yeah.
Now, my biggest problem though was that they went into it saying, we're looking to make these, no clipping. Everything's gonna be great. And straight up, first thing I do when I put on one of my new capes is it clips through the back of my skirt thing. Robe. First tower robe. That's what it's called. First thing I see.
Yay.
So that disappointed me.
Yeah, I just immediately went back to using wings.
Yeah,
but
the capes.
Yeah, I'm back to using my quest cape because it's still in the old form.
Yeah, and that's also a funny thing about this. Quest Cape did not get an update of any variety, despite the fact whatever.
It's just too pro.
What I cannot understand is why you can't make the skill capes in the style of the master capes without particles.
That would
other than people complaining about the master capes not being different enough, but you have particles. What more do you honestly need? That is the reason you get those. It's not because the cape looks different, it's because you want the particles to show off.
Also, they're recolorable. They are recolorable, so that's the difference.
Well, not the 120 capes.
No, I'm talking about the 120 capes, not Max and Comp.
Not Comp.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, Max doesn't have any. Max doesn't have particles.
No, it doesn't.
No.
You know what's even crazier? Is with this update, everybody spent so long whining and complaining about the skill capes, so many people ignored how freaking incredible Pyramid Plunder looks now.
Oh, that's what we're going to mention next.
It's still hell though, so.
Oh yeah. The gameplay wasn't changed, but the music and the graphics were updated hugely. And the whole thing looks so good.
Yeah, it's really
I know.
Yeah, they're slowly going through and redoing all the music, and it's really coming together. I can't remember what I was listening to the last time. Oh, But We Can Fight. I'm like, holy crap, this was updated. When did this happen? Because it was one of my favorites before, even when it was at it wasn't 8-bit, but it was obviously outdated and used MIDI files.
Yeah. I was actually talking to Jasurdes today, and he said that he had no idea that Temple Desecrated was updated, and he freaked out.
I haven't heard the updated version of that, I don't think.
I love,
but it's nice.
Happening to turn on the music, and just one of the old songs that I knew really well has a new look of new sound to it. I love it.
Yeah.
They're doing such good work with that. The music team is blowing themselves out of the water with it.
Yes.
Constantly. It's incredible.
What they do need to do is, redo Bane of Summer.
No,
Because that's a great song, but it's, at this point it's outclassed because of the quality of the recording quality, or not recording quality, but it's a MIDI. And
they need to do espionage.
Just needs to be updated.
I would love to hear a Mudskipper melody redone in
Jeez.
modern style.
James Bond.
Boom, 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 boom.
Anyways. Okay, so we mentioned Skill Capes, we mentioned Pyramid Plunder. Also this last month was the beta servers, which other people can talk more about than I can, so.
Runic, take it away.
Go.
Okay, so the first thing they did was a whole bunch of 2H sword and PvP changes. This is stuff ModPie has been working on. So they buffed 2H melee, they buffed Hurricane's damage. Hurricane basically hits something like, 700 weapon damage now, maybe a little less.
Additionally, it hits the first target twice now.
Yeah. So what is it? It hits I don't remember the exact numbers, but it hits twice on the main target, and it hits a lot. It's basically wild magic for 2H.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, because it was probably the worst threshold beforehand, besides the AoE clear side of things, and now it's got some real power to it.
The thing I just kind of want to mention, though, is that this isn't going to save 2H prices for level 90. And 2H is still inferior to dual wielding, just in terms of raw damage. So, yeah.
They really should add the 3-hand in then.
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately enough, in the end, they would have to outright make 2H a better option than dual wield in order for the prices to remain consistent, and that's not something they really want to do.
Well, they would have to make it equal, and then...
Yeah.
No, because not even... equal, once you get to the level 90 weapons, it doesn't matter. Drygors are too cheap.
Oh,
comparatively.
true.
That's really the big problem, is Drygors just drain melee. Because, basically, they should have gone for more of what they did with ranged for melee and magic.
Where you have to spend time to get the pieces instead of just
into the
it
boss
drops
in the first place. Yeah. Because effectively with Cal Fight King it is walk up, open an instance, and boom, start killing. Ranged though, you have to either purchase or get these keys through drops, and then you can work on the bosses.
Yeah, the Ascension, the longer that the game is, the longer that the Ascension dungeon is out, it's this was a masterfully designed area, just from start to finish, because it has the lore, which is what we're interested in. It has the replayability where they're Slayer monsters and they drop good stuff. It has the element of bossing with the whatever the hell they're called.
Legiones.
Yeah,
those guys. And then if you do the bossing, there's a kind of DIY element to, you can make your own Ascension crossbow. It's just so well designed. In
fact, it is the monster drops are so well designed that Gladii are among the top combat non-boss money making method in the game right now.
Both of those are.
It's ridiculous.
Rarity are pretty good too.
Yeah, they're up there, but Gladii are sitting at the top. They can even be considered, I've read in some cases that they can even be considered above soloing Krill. It's crazy.
Gladii is annoying though.
They're annoying, but there's ways to counter them. It requires a little more movement than most people prefer, so they're not quite as AFK.
Movement?
I know.
That means that we can't AFK them though. God damn it. I like momentuming through Rorari.
They are damn good money though.
But yeah. Anyways, all joking aside, So that's one aspect of the beta service. You mentioned before we got going about something regarding loot drop pickup thing.
Yeah, Fang can explain this one. I'll come back
basically,
for Def.
You toggle this on, and then there's a whole customization interface. So, how it works basically is, when you walk up to a pile of loot and you've got this this turned on, when you click that pile, it opens what looks like a little inventory in the corner of your screen that shows you every single piece of loot that's on the ground in like a 4x4 or 6x6 square around you. So, instead of having to manually walk up to each one, you can open this and see everything that's there. Now, making this even better is there's two little buttons at the bottom. There's a take all and a take customize. So you can set up in the customization options what you want to take. So do you want to take weapons? What kind of weapons do you want to take? Do you want to take armor? What kind of armor do you want to take? Do you want to take coins? What is the value of the coins that it would have to be for you to want to take it? So you can say, if it's not above 5k in coins, I don't want it. And,
if you could just, if you don't have to manually go and click on each one, why wouldn't you just take the coin?
Oh,
but
yeah.
okay, yeah.
I have mine set at 1 on the beta. But it is just, it's so fluid. You walk up to your loot, you click it, and you can see everything clearly displayed. There's not little seeds hiding on the ground anymore. You see what's there. You can take everything. You can take the specific stuff you want, and then even after you've taken the specific stuff you want, you can still pick and choose from what's left over, or just leave it there. It doesn't matter. It's so well done.
Yeah, it does seem very useful.
It went into beta, and it's, with just a few little usability tweaks, because it's a little overly complex at times, a little hard to kind of get used to. Man, it's really good. I'm excited for this. Hugely. Mm-hmm. Like, it's gonna make, faster killing the Slayer task where you kill him in a couple of shots.
Especially like picking up the ashes, picking up the bones.
Like, greater demons, for example, they melt.
Or infinite.
Do you have to individually click? So you get the interface. I haven't seen this at all.
So you get the interface and you can individually click it. So like, if you only want the ashes, you can click on all the ashes. But through the customization, there's a button at the bottom that says take customization or whatever it says.
And that takes everything that you've clicked on.
Everything that you've customized
that
and
is
just
awesome.
drops it right into your inventory. And there's even a take all, which is awesome.
That is great.
It is really, really great.
Alright, well, I support this. Alright, and then there's also the death changes. We mentioned something about this briefly, I don't know, 2 or 3 podcasts ago, but there's more, we know more about it now, so Runic, go.
Okay, so the first thing to note is that the current death system is still there. What it is though is all gravestones have been dropped to 2.5 minutes, and using signs of respite.
5?
5. Yeah, and using blesses and signs of respite, you can push a gravestone to last 5 minutes at max. You have those 5 minutes to reclaim your items from wherever they are, and afterwards, you can go to death to loot your items. And death will charge you a cost. Death will charge you a cost, and these costs, a lot of them are minimal for food and potions. I think like sharks cost like 100 GP each. But then a lot of the higher level equipment, the prices, it's all mostly based on the GE value. So you have, I think next sets are ridiculously expensive to reclaim. Like next gloves and boots to reclaim them is over 150k, which is triple what you pay to repair them from 0%.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, things like superior ports armors, like the heads, are absurd, because they don't have a GE value.
Yeah. The bodies and legs, they're fairly comparable to what you would have paid in degrade costs. And yeah, death gives you your items back without degrading them. Mm-hmm. And the biggest problem with this that I've found so far is that noxious weapons and ascension weapons cost a ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
Like, you will pay 600k, roughly, to retrieve 1 ascension. The offhand will cost the same amount, and noxious weapons will cost 1.5 mil.
This is only if they go to death, correct? If you don't get them from your gravestone.
Correct.
Yeah, if you get them from your gravestone,
it's free
it's the
if you get it from
exact
your
same. Well, no, you have to pay the grade cost.
Well, besides degrade costs.
Yeah, it's the gravestones work exactly the same, except the timers are reduced massively.
We're talking, it's the same as live, but just the timers are a lot harder to access.
I think I like that, actually.
I like that, but I hate the balancing of the costs so far.
Well, I mean, I think I even like to the balancing of the costs. Like, for those of it means that there's actually some risk to bossing.
There's a couple major problems. Number one.
Yeah. Noxious weapons.
Like noxious weapons. Number two, this punishes mid-level players way more than it punishes high-level players.
Maybe.
Think about it. You have 5 minutes at any given time to get to your grave. If you're a mid-level player, you can't get back to Bandos, Growdor in 5 minutes.
No one can get back to...
player is not going to be using noxious weapons.
Well, that's the point, though, is the costs are still somewhat prohibitively high for a mid-level player. Somebody using Bandos armor probably isn't going to have a ton of money laying around, so they literally have no chance at all of getting back to their gravestone in time. So it's effectively, you die here, you're paying the cost, you don't get to go back to your gravestone, sorry. But for things like Virago, Araxor, all the T90 bosses, even, things, Nex, if you've got all the setup for it, you can get back in a minute or less with ease.
Also, a lot of those areas have, like, their graveyard sites, so...
Yeah. Well, not just the graveyard sites, but they're all very close to a safe location and a lodestone. So, Virago, you die, you teleport to Falador, and boom, you pop into the graveyard, and there's your stuff. You're not going to be paying the immense... So it gives these high-level players just almost this ease of dying. Dying isn't a worry, because you get back to your gravestone and you just have that... Yeah, you just have that repair cost. But for a low-level player, effectively, you're being forced to buy your stuff back every single time, and that gold sink just gets higher and higher. So it makes, tier 70 bosses, the God Wars dungeon, so prohibitive for the players that it's targeted at, and so much more lucrative for the players that are much higher level. So you go into Bandos with, your full seismics and so on. You're gonna have, your tectonic armor. You're gonna have no problem killing him, and you're not at risk to die without a DC. But a level 70 player who's in level 60 or 70 gear, who's going in there at the level that it's designed for, will have those problems, has that chance to die, and then has to pay the cost with death and have no way to get back to the gravestone.
And you're saying that, the armor that they would have worn is still, incredibly expensive to buy back from death.
It sounds the entire thing sounds like is it's not so much a death system issue. It is a God Wars dungeon issue.
Yeah.
It is the fact that God Wars dungeon and, as Walter pointed out in chat, lol dag kings, who? Yeah. Are just obscenely difficult to get to compared to the new bosses that have come out. So it doesn't seems like it's just, unfortunately, it just seems like that's these were designed under the old system, so unfortunately, you get screwed because of it.
It's the kind of thing that says, hey, we need more time in the beta for this. Be it with the God Wars dungeon being reworked, or the death system being tailored to it. Because it needs it in some way, shape, or form.
Over his dungeon graveyard,
what if it did spit out? What if it spit your grave out onto the surface? What if it did,
Heck, just toss it, into the middle of the dungeon, or just outside each of the doors, the spot where you hop over. That alone would make it more than reasonable.
Yeah.
Because
that's true, so you don't have to get kill count. Because the prohibitive problem with the God Wars dungeon is the kill count.
Correct. Of course, Dagonoth Kings would have to drop it on the surface. Water birth.
Dagonoth Kings are a completely different problem.
Yep. They are an issue. But the second thing I saw Runic point out is also it punishes you for trying to hybrid.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh yeah, cause it wrecks, yeah.
Because it charges you for everything even if you're not wearing it.
Correct.
Yeah, and the current system, if you have anything in your inventory that degrades, it just doesn't degrade on death.
Is that supposed to be the case? Because that doesn't seem like it's supposed to be the case.
Basically, the things that you are wearing on death degrade, the things in your inventory don't.
That really doesn't seem like it's supposed to be the case.
Well, they specifically said it was going to be the case.
That's so
because
weird.
they want to make sure that hybriding is still an option where you don't feel like if you die, you're paying twice or 3 times as much in degrade costs just because you're doing a boss in a different way or perhaps a more efficient way.
Fair enough.
So with this though, you're paying the cost on every piece of armor you've got with you. So your reclaim cost is going to be twice or 3 times as much just because you've brought a way to swap weapons and armor.
Yeah, and I suggested something really simple, which is that if you decide to reclaim your stuff from death and, skip the degrade costs entirely, if you reclaim within like the first 5 minutes or whatever, he doesn't charge for weapons and stuff in your inventory.
Yeah, I do think they need to do something about things that are specifically in your inventory on death, weapon-wise and armor-wise.
Yeah.
Because the current system caters to that, and the beta system does not.
What was it that you just posted in chat, Orange?
Oh, I'm just taking some of the original player questions from the, I guess, dev blog that Mud Hunter posted, whatever, before this all went to beta. So he addresses like some of those points, basically.
Yeah, he says, okay, so let's just read out this before we move on. Hybrid Tribrid, a lot of discussion has been around Hybrid Tribrid and the risk versus reward. The costs aren't intended to prevent or put people off of hybriding or tribriding. However, the added risk is intended to bring in the considerations of, is this really worth risking? And optimizing gear setups for relative risk and reward, additionally in relation to the damage output, which is effectively what it's doing in this situation. For current system and worn equipment, it's been mentioned a few times that only worn equipment has degrade on death in live. In terms of risk, the degrade should have applied regardless of worn or not. I'm not sure whether if this was a design decision or an oversight, as the other gears are still effectively in the fight. We're aiming to correct issues with the live game alongside the safety net for disconnections. And this is one of those areas. Like I said, that sounded really stupid, and I thought it sounded wrong.
When they launched it, they did specifically say that armor and weapons in the inventory would not degrade. That was part of their system.
Yeah.
So when he said he's not sure if it's a design decision or not, it was a design decision.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Basically,
yes, it is being recorded.
Considering these kind of aspects, so I guess they do have a direction they want to take this, but I guess that's what the full beta is for, is to show, like, what these types of things are affecting the game, like how they're affecting the game and all that, before just throwing it in there and into live.
Yeah.
But alright, so that covers what we've got on the beta servers. We'll probably have more about beta server stuff.
There's one more thing quickly mentioned, that they have a mashup of legacy mode with EOC interface and the other way around, which would have been, EOC before the NIS was released, and they're planning to release that this month.
World Event 1 era.
Yeah.
Just in time for the re-release of World Event 1.
Yay!
Exactly.
Alright.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Admittedly though, I took a look at it. Oh my god, I forgot how terrible the old Adrenaline bar looks.
Nice.
Well, actually, they made a quick little change to it, that it has now a counter on the side for what your actual percentage is.
That's handy.
That's nice.
It's a shame it still looks like a giant glow stick.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. We also have an Easter event that we need to briefly talk about. So,
yeah, the eggplant's back.
Yeah, Lime says, yay, I finally have something I can talk about. So why don't you go ahead and say something, Lime?
This Easter event, it actually included Jadinkos, which I completely forgot existed, but it's a refreshing change. I don't know why the Easter Bunny needs Jadinkos, though. Are they like
I did think that was a very funny choice.
Well, considering nobody's hunting Jadinkos anymore, there's kind of an oversupply.
Well, I mean, he's hatching them after all.
But the mechanic was pretty cool with the egg machine.
Oh, super fun. I really liked that.
Yeah, that was a really good puzzle.
Create your own Jadinko.
both puzzles were really good, actually. The balancing one was a little plain, but it was still enjoyable.
I mean,
And
it's...
there's the challenge in getting it as fast as possible.
Like, there was a scoreboard and everything, but what's kind of unfortunate is that the dwarf's name was Kara, and Kitten can't be here today.
Rip. Rip Kitten. I thought she was going to be here today.
No.
She's now in game with 2 different NPCs.
She is. She is. Alright, so...
And I still only have my clothing line.
And it's just a matter of time before Stu puts me in game. By name.
Yeah.
I'm already in the Sanity Asylum.
Just where you belong, Lime. In his Erosion Insane Asylum. Anyways, anything else we want to mention briefly about this?
I'm glad to see that...
Go ahead.
I'm glad to see that the Easter Bunny is alive and kicking after being thrown into a volcano during the Easter event a few years ago. That's about it.
Also, I do want to say, I don't know if you mentioned the Jadinko pet as a reward, but that's a long time that we should have had one of those a long time ago. Cause Jadinkos are legitimately kind of cute.
And the Jadinko eats, and the egg on a fork, which kind of came out of nowhere.
Cause why not?
And they're free to play, which is interesting.
And they are. In fact, the skilling zone fighting the Jadinkos have like legitimate Jadinko drops. So free to players can fight like variants of the Jadinkos here just during the event.
And we can even name them too. Like even though they don't have dialogue, we can name them.
Nice.
Do they not have dialogue?
I don't think so. I think they just do like a sound if you do interact, kind of like Rowena does, where she like says something.
Alright. Yes, Lime. Speaking of Baru, moving on to April Fools, because
this was legendary. This was legendary.
I have here, before we get started, I think we all can have one small complaint. They did too much. We couldn't get to all of it.
I had trouble, checking it all out during just the one day because I was pretty busy.
Yeah, I was too.
Yeah, I only had a few hours, so all I got to see was the jazz hands.
But yeah, so first off there was jazz hands, where we got Stone of Jazzes on our hands, because why not? Walter says now we need a full Stone Toucher outfit.
I mean, it is the Fist of Guthix.
It is. It is now our fist.
Yeah. So, instead of Guthix fists.
We're succeeding Guthix as the World Guardian. So, the Fist of Guthix is now the Fists of the World Guardian.
Yep.
Fists of Fury.
Can you imagine doing one of a kind or Ritual of the Majorat with the jazz hands? Just like Carapax destroying us on the spot.
Lucian pops his big one up there, looks at you and goes, "Where did you get those?"
No, you know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see Nomad have it. Just because remember at the end of Dishonor.
Nomad out with the jazz hands.
He doesn't need jazz hands, he needs double dream hands.
Also worth mentioning, or also in full troll mode, full Raven troll mode, there was a Raven around Draenor Manor that gave you 1 out of 365 Ravens.
I cried a little bit.
I was like, wait, is that actually real? Cause
was funny. The catch was they accidentally released the LeBeau and the Raven with the Easter event because it was part of that update. But it wasn't supposed to act, and for about 3 hours it was released. So the first person that found this Raven, whose name was Terry, was somebody that had finished the Ravensworn title.
They're like, oh no.
So they see it and basically a post pops up on Reddit going, no. This can't be real. You're shitting with me? No? And then they all vanished. So people were like, okay, I'm not quite sure what happened. And, and then the beta launches, and once again,
accidentally they're all active for about 2 hours. So, the one catch was they were very bad at keeping their April Fool's secret this year.
Yeah.
But, I mean, nobody found the yak speak or the jazz hands before.
Well, that's because nobody kills yaks.
Yeah. Nobody kills yaks.
Speaking of which,
after they did that update to Van Luca to make her easier to buy from, nobody killed the yaks.
yeah.
But I think the yaks or the camel stacking were my favorite parts.
I love camels.
Camel stacking isn't in the thread. Walter, what are you doing? God
Alright.
damn it, Walter, what do we pay you for?
I'm gonna give you the summary. Basically, there were a bunch of camels north of Al-Qarid. And yeah, oh my god.
Oh my god, Walter didn't know you could camel stack?
A bunch of new camels appeared.
Well, we just complained that nobody found everything. Even Walter didn't get everything. Holy crap.
Alright, so
even Walter missed one.
There were these camels that were north of Al-Qarid, and they all had the option to stack them. And every time there was a chance that you could stack one camel on top of the other and just keep stacking them up to like 4 camels.
I think it was 10.
But,
I think the maximum was 10.
No, yeah, the max was 10, but the J-mods were saying that in the office they've only gotten up to 9. But the max was set to 10.
I only got 3.
Most people were getting either 3 or 4. I personally got 4. I've never seen it any higher.
Yeah.
I got 4 a couple times, but when you fail to stack the camel, they all fall on the ground, and then they explode.
And apparently they exploded. I love the apparently they exploded.
Yeah.
But that was great. I think Orange ended up just stopping at 4, leaving it as a monument.
Yeah. Monument to Tumakin's greatness right there.
I found out in my various camel stacking adventures that they actually, it's not like, it's shared between players, so if someone else comes around and like knocks it over, then it's knocked over for everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I was there
it's not
with,
instanced.
I was there with, there was a clanmate there, and we were both trying to do it, and he was destroying my stacks, and I was destroying his. So, yeah.
It
was hilarious.
It needs to be permanent.
It really does.
Yeah. Camel stacking. So there's that, there's camel stack, okay.
There was
There's
the amulet.
cow tipping.
Yeah,
There's cow tipping.
Some poor guy gave the cows over 1 billion coins.
That guy did it intentionally. That guy did it
hell?
intentionally because there was a high score for it.
Of
There was
course
a high
he did
score
it
for it.
intentionally, but
Yeah,
That must
but
have
somebody
been
accidentally gave 66 mil and almost cried.
wait,
I feel sorry for that
what?
guy. So basically,
Yeah.
he tried to give it 1,000 gold, and he didn't see any change in his money pouch. So he goes, oh, it's just a joke. So he plugs in, let's put in 66 mil. So he pokes it in and sees it all go away.
Nice.
Also immediately jumps up to number 3 in the high score, but
And he's number 3, not even number 2.
number 2 is like
phenomenal
800k,
service.
I think. Or 800 mil, it's ridiculous.
What the hell?
Like, why would you tip that to a cow? Just give it to me, I need it.
That service must have been
Seriously,
great.
I picked the wrong race to be in this game.
So one person gave 1 bill and another person gave 800 mil?
Something along those lines.
What the
Yeah,
hell?
actually
Something like that.
that high score.
It's great because if you don't tip anything, they're like, what? Didn't I provide good service?
Yeah.
And then the game tells you should feel bad.
Yes, it does. You're bad and you should feel bad. Alright, so that's cow tipping.
I think the funniest part about
They were
the
also
US
voiced.
is they don't have names. There's no names for them. Yeah, one person tipped 1 billion, named Pengo Toxoff. And then the next person was 135 mil, then 133,333,337, 111, and then there's 75k, and then Alexandru was the person that did this with 66,002,000, because they tipped the 2,000, 206 million.
Rip.
Yeah.
Poor soul.
In fact, someone I know, Meet Dave, is 5th on there with 75 mil. You crazy, crazy individual.
Why? Just why?
The funniest part is on the high scores, they don't have titles. So they're just blank titled with random high scores. There's actually a second one that nobody seems to be quite sure as to what on earth it was. But there's only, what is there, 4 people ranked on it.
What is it?
What are
Literally nothing?
What are the rankings?
Because there's not titles, but there's Purify at 25,039, Hexmaniac at 12,466, Shannis at 10,000, and Mastodon at 6,263.
I suspect it might be Yak Kills.
That's a thought.
Check to see if I'm on there, because I killed a few. I killed way too many of them.
No, there's only 4 people.
There's only 4 people that got high enough
That's
to be on there.
So I'm very, very curious what that is, because that's a little too many for a camel to be stacked.
Yeah. I suspect it might be Yak Kills, actually.
See, I actually thought it was progress into the Samuel LeBeau thing, but with only 4 people on there, and you can actually only kill, 3,000 of them for him?
Yeah.
Yeah, only 2,000.
Anyway.
Yeah, speaking of which...
I don't know what it is!
Speaking of which, briefly, Samuel LeBeau is a guy that repeatedly assigns you to kill 10 rats and trolls you every step of the way.
Well, he almost assigned 11 rats once, but then he had to open his big mouth.
That was actually my favorite one. See, it's chapter 3, yeah. Ratman Begins is the name of this chapter. So you come back to him and he goes, "Surely the dark beasts run in fear from your tremendous power. Now let me reward you for your victory." Samuel LeBeau awards you 5 whole gold coins for your effort. And you reply, "Wait, what? I got 6 coins last time. I was expecting 7 this time." And he goes, "What? Do I look like I'm made of money? I can only give special rewards some of the time." You reply, "Wait, I know what you're gonna say." He goes, "You must kill 11 rats!" You reply, "Okay, maybe I didn't know quite what you were gonna say." And he goes, "You're right. 11 is a bit much."
Just kill
Still
10.
kind of numb. It was great!
Oh.
I think I did 18 chapters of this and was pretty much crying the whole time.
I
It was so
believe
good.
I didn't actually get to do this, but reading through the dialogue, I'm pretty sure my favorite of what Walter has on here is when he says, "Allow me to tell you now that you've shown your dedication, I have a secret to tell you. Allow me to tell you a deep secret about the Dragonkin, something that will chill you to your very core." Player says, "Finally, something worthy of my talents." Sam says, "Many centuries ago, the Dragonkin went out into the world." The player, no, I can see that look in your eyes, don't do it.
Set a task just for you.
No, don't you even think about it.
For you, mighty warrior, must...
I will end you.
Kill...
You
10...
mother. I can only use quick chat.
Quick chat.
I love that. That is such a good touch. I can only use quick chat.
I think I fell slightly while that happened, just because of how brilliant the dialogue was. I don't know who wrote it, but I want to shake their hand.
It was Raven. I think it was Raven.
It was probably Raven.
I would be shocked if it wasn't.
I can only use quick chat.
I can't believe they let him put that in.
Of course they'd let him put that in.
Yeah. Oh man, though.
Oh, it's so good. But, so that's Samuel LeBeau. The maximum was, there were, how many chapters?
300.
300 chapters?
300 chapters.
How did they have titles for all of them?
I did, yes, there is, that one the other one is actually a high score, and it starts counting after you kill 5,000 rats.
Nice.
Yeah. So you can actually only kill 3,000 for him.
But some people kill 12,000 rats?
Yeah.
You poor thing.
Oh, the best part is after the only use quick shot one and you finish, tasks 8 through 300 is the start, player, rats, 10 of them, Samuel LeBeau. What a marvelous idea. And Samuel LeBeau, blah blah blah, well done, etc. Player, really? You can't even be bothered to say a one line, well done? Samuel LeBeau, meh. Let me reward you for your victory. He gives you a whole 5 gold. But then, the finale. You finish task 300. You come back and he goes, "Dude, seriously, what the hell? You've killed 3,000 rats. What is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
You reply, "I just couldn't stop. I have a problem." And he goes, go and lay down or something. Leave the rats alone, okay? And he goes, "I hate you for what you've turned me into." And he replies, I'm so sorry. And he goes, "Samuel LeBeau refuses to give you another quest. You're some kind of rat nightmare now." It's amazing.
Oh my
god. So many things in this April Fool's event that just makes us feel really bad about ourselves.
Isn't that normal though?
Yeah,
it is.
I mean, I kind of feel bad that we didn't have an actual April Fool's joke this year.
I was really hoping for a fake news post. I always love those.
What are you talking about, like the Seercast?
As in Seercast, we didn't have an actual April Fool's joke this year.
Yeah.
It was kind of unfortunate because we were all just didn't have the time to put one together and record it.
And then we thought of one the day after.
Yeah. Well, and it's also, like, we had, like, spoiler alert, but for the Evolution of Doors podcast from last year, we had thought of that, I don't know.
Months in advance?
Yeah, it was, we
wrote a whole document.
Yeah,
like a script and everything.
I can't remember who came up with it first. Was it you, Lime?
It was me. I thought of it in, like, September.
But yeah, we thought of it, like, super, super early, and then...
We've been all out with it.
Yeah. But, yeah, so, it's a shame. I mean, I guess I posted up the heist video, finally.
Well, at least you have one for next year.
Yeah.
You get a plus for that.
We will not divulge what this is yet, but, you know.
That was disgustingly late.
It is disgustingly late, but, you know, it's fine.
Like, even I am not that late.
I wouldn't go that far.
Did you just... No.
You're Runic insinuating he's not late.
No.
I'm insinuating that I'm not that late.
Please.
Whoa!
No.
Anything in the universe that is later than Runic. I can only imagine.
Birthright of the Dwarves post-quest dialogue.
Oh, that's probably later than Runic.
Yeah, you got me there.
There are other things that are later than Runic. We are just not going to speak of them here.
Yep.
But yeah, so that covers.
Just saying.
That covers everything from last. But what?
See, I think that if it's late and we speak of it, it just delays it more.
Perhaps.
Why else is Half-Life 3 not out?
Because we keep talking about it.
So wait, is that why Menaphos isn't out?
Well, we made it in. Don't forget that.
Yeah, Lime. So, essentially, Menaphos is yours and Fang's fault.
Yep.
Wait, you mean Memphis?
Memphis.
Yes, Memphis.
Oh, I love it. Memphis. It's the most... Oh my god. Anyways.
It's legendary.
That it is. Alright, so I think that covers, at long last, everything we wanted to talk about that wasn't Dimension of Disaster. Suddenly, this is a 2-part podcast. So...
Yeah!
It's not 2 separate podcasts, it's just 2 parts. But, yeah.
Maybe we should just put an annotation. Skip to Dimension of Disaster at whatever timestamp.
Well, I'm gonna upload it in 2 parts.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, so that covers everything that we want here. For those of you that are watching this part, the next part will be linked in the video. Actually, it's perfect because this is exactly an hour. But, the next part will be linked in the video right here. For those of you who, for some reason, aren't going to watch that, you should rethink your decisions in life and watch it. But, we will see you guys later or just in a few minutes. So, see you guys.
In a few years.
Yep, at the 300th quest.